Live from LA. This is Smart Miles.
We got the beautiful, wonderful Heather Hopkins in the building, y'all. What's happening?
What's up?
So we bring Heather on today.
Yep.
We want to address the fans right to the face.
Yeah, let them know.
We've had some wild episodes recently.
Too much. Too crazy.
It's gotten a little bit crazy in here. We need to bring in an actual expert.
Right.
Someone that can give us a little bit of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Cam, you've gotten some horrible advice lately.
Yeah, I understand that this is specifically for me and the people that are listening, because the advice that they've taken from this show, and they tried it out in clubs and they came back with very angry reviews.
Right.
And so we had to bring on an expert to let us know like how to really understand what women think and what people are thinking out in the dating world.
Right, because Heather, the curly-headed overlord who actually runs this house here.
Uh-huh.
We don't dox her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she usually gives her little feedback. She's kind of let it run wild a little lately.
Yeah.
So we just are so delighted that you're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll try to bring some
And
sanity.
you are entrepreneur,
Yes.
founder of a tech company,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
and an unbelievable advice giver on TikTok.
I guess so. You see my TikToks? I feel like TikTok's the platform where you're you don't want any of your friends to see. You're
Right.
you're putting stuff out there, but you're oh crap, someone actually saw that I know.
Yeah.
That's what I feel every single time someone watches this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like a friend of one of my parents are I keep up. I'm like, oh, do you?
All I can say is
Jesus.
I have a dating podcast, but I talk sometimes about my personal life, and I'd be if I was a person dating me, I would love to date, because I would love to hear the insides of what the person's thinking. I'm how
Totally.
great is that?
Totally.
I'm jealous of you.
And you're really after a while, over time, hours and hours, you're getting really a piece of their mind. You know.
I know. I would love to know what the guy's thinking. That he has
Yeah.
an hour-long audio piece of me being oh, and then this, and
So
all
how
these
do you
thoughts.
remain conscious of a guy that you're dating or
Right.
maybe a guy that you're just talking to being aware
I have an answer
of
for
this stuff?
So what I do, because obviously I want to respect the person that I'm with, and I'm my dating life is not a joke to me. I'm not well, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah.
It's I'm actually genuinely interested in these people. So what I do is actually record things. I can them, so I'll record them and I'll play them 6 months later. So they're totally, people think they're on real time, but they're not.
But it's like being, let's say, Justin Bieber,
I don't use the
and
real
he
names.
comes out with a song, and it's
Yeah.
every girl who's everything
Yeah.
is about his wife, but is it?
Yeah.
It's some of them are
It's
breakup
the same
songs.
thing. It's kind of, that's my little hack to it, is to still maintain that privacy, is just record, you can record then and then play it, way later.
Right.
Okay.
Protect that.
Right.
I think that's smart.
Yes.
How do you different? I want to talk a little bit about your app. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. But differentiating yourself with the entrepreneurial side and the personal life and the podcast life, because that's actually, in a way, very different lives you live.
it is.
Because the podcast life, you're giving out information, you're letting people know, what you think was worse in the dating pool. But in your personal life, this is when it's really playing out.
Yeah.
And to the guys that are seeing it, how do you differentiate the difference of what you teach versus what you're actually doing?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm a very colorful human. I think
Yeah.
we all are, and I think
Yeah.
we should be more embracing to the fact that you can have lots of different, my business self, the way that I work in business. I bet people that know me just on the friend side, or they'd be what the heck, Heather, where did this come from?
Yeah.
But I think we all are so layered, and I personally am not afraid to show the real side of me while also being a boss in another part of my life. I don't know. I think it's just
Right.
it's confusing.
Well, and I actually when I was a part of a tech company that we founded, it was difficult to be on Instagram a little bit because people in that world hate anything.
Right.
They hate when you
so weird.
give a date for an update, or if you talk about something personal. I remember getting yelled at for putting a song that I liked of one of my friends on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
Because it sweared and it said some pretty horrible things about women on it. But at the same time, I was also trying to say, hey, my friend just came out with a song. This is dope.
Yeah, it's so weird, you guys. I feel confused. I feel always conflicted because I'm an entrepreneur. I have my business, and I'm also young, so I'm also a young person living life and have friends and fun. And so I find, what I've kind of just given up on is I don't really care about, looking like what people think of a stereotypical entrepreneur. I think it's different now. Like, I think you can totally be a relatable, like, young, awesome person and then also be a boss and also have a podcast where you talk about dating. Like, I think let's just, like, break through boxes. And that's right. What I
I like that. That's totally right, because I say that it seems like a very simple thing to say or accomplish, but it's like, there's people out there, my ex-girlfriend, who was like very good at business, but like
which one, Kev?
Very good at business, and she was very smart, but like not a good person in dating life. And it was also really interesting because it's always like, it always had this thing that she can say, not trying to get too personal, but I was like, hey, you have to be nice to the people in your work or you're going to get fired. Why aren't you nice to me? And
And that's why she's fired.
Yeah, that's why she's fired. Exactly. So, it sounds like a very simple thing, but somehow it's very difficult to some people.
I don't know. I don't think it should be. I don't know. To me, it's more weird mixing all the worlds. Like, because people in the world, I feel like they like to put people in boxes. Like, they're like, oh, if you're on Instagram, that means you're an Instagram model, you're a blogger, you're this. I'm like, what about you can have lots of loves and be just a human.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's right.
I love seeing all the guys that like shoot their shot whenever you have dating advice.
Q&A.
She'll be like, hey guys, what do you think about this? And then she'll like screenshot all the posts of guys being like, oh, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah, that's always weird. Or someone will ask for advice. They'll be like, oh, I was asking for a friend, a.k.a. me. And I'm like, oh, you tricked me. I always thought you were really asking for a friend.
I love that phrase. Hey, you tricked me.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, because for the people out there that are listening to this and they really want to know, would you date one of your users that are using your app?
I have.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Okay,
watch out.
So I built Hula for myself.
Oh.
So obviously I use it.
Hey, you hear that, boys?
She's just like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, dating pool is weird. I'm going to figure it out for myself.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's what I did. I was like, I was so sick of all the apps out there. I was like, I need to create this space that, so I mean, I don't know if you want to go into what it is.
Jump into it.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably an important detail.
Let's jump in, yeah.
So Hula is all video based. Mm-hmm. So if you're familiar with the other apps out there, I'm assuming you are. Sound like you're out on the scene.
A little bit,
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're all chat based, and so for me, I started it because I would be on the other apps and I'd match with someone, we'd be chatting, and be like, oh, they seem so funny, and we have good banter, great. And then meet up in person within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is really not good. Oof. And so then I made it a rule, and I made a rule in my show that you had to FaceTime before you can meet up with them. And so I would tell my listener, I'm like, blame it on me. Just say, I'm doing the Heather way. You got to FaceTime before you
Okay.
before we can go. And so then it was like, why isn't there an app that's always a part of the process? And so that's how Hula came to be. And Hula's all video based, from the profile to the actual once you actually match. So meaning the way that our profiles look, so you're used to scrolling through someone's photos. The way that our profiles work is, think of Hula, we call it like a hula hoop, like bringing dating full circle. Yep. And we also bring your circle of friends into it. Meaning that, so someone's profile, what you're going to see is you're going to see their photos, but mixed in between this montage of their photos is their friends answering questions about them.
Ooh.
So
that's
you're going to see their friend, you're going to see the really full picture of this person. And then once you decide to match, then you first schedule a 5-minute video chat, and then you can chat. So you'll always know, hey, on Thursday we're going to talk. And so that's always, having that real conversation is always in the process. And that's what I believe is a huge thing that's just missing. And we need to have it.
So who gets to initiate that stuff?
So it's either one can initiate it's not like a woman make the first move. It's either one can initiate. Yeah.
Okay.
But
I always thought it was interesting. So I'm engaged now. I have this beautiful fiance, the curly-headed overlord. And so when I was single, I tried Tinder and Bumble for, I think, a weekend. It might have been 2 weeks. Yeah. I turned it on. I was swiping. I was just swiping as much as I could. Yeah. And I actually thought my Wi-Fi was down or something, because there just wasn't any love, because I'm a personality-driven guy.
Yes,
You know,
you will thrive on Hula because it's so and you know what? This is what it's also missing is women are so emotional. Okay, I can tell you right now, if a guy is like a 6 and then he's funny, oh my god, he becomes a 9. It's like
right.
the wild. It's like, oh my, we all of a sudden the fire starts growing. We're like, oh my lord.
Right.
And on Hula, that finally has the ability to shine. And it also allows you, especially I've talked to a lot of females on the platform, and you take, so the way that guys are way less picky on this, but girls are more picky. So when guys look at profiles, they're like, oh yeah, she's hot. Yep. You know, they're going through it real quick. Girls
That's
are
true.
like, do I want to like them? Like, it's way more intentional when you're on the front side.
Right.
But on Hula, because it's only 5 minutes of a video chat, you're like, he looks like he could be cute. Let me give it a shot.
Got it.
So it's just
because you are an app that, at least for now,
yes,
individuals are going to come to you after they've tried Tinder and Bumble, and they're sick of it. Right. They've already kind of got beaten up on that, and so you're going to be that plan B in this space until you become plan A, and everyone realizes that it's the dopest thing around.
Right. It's definitely a breath of fresh air, I would say, right now, because people come in like, oh, you know, they're just used to just being overwhelmed with matches and just like, oh, I hate the small talk, I hate my timing wasted. They're like, oh, and they come into here and it's just a very, very different experience.
Yeah. Because I have a friend of mine, not me, who loves to use dating apps, and you know he tells me, you know, about his experience of Bumble, you know, in these apps. Is because you know, you know, he's reaching out, he's not getting responses, and this would be a perfect app for him to use because you know because you know when you see a cute person and they match, you know, you just want to start talking to them, you know, whatever reason. We don't need the analytical, you know, mind just taking ourselves out of that situation.
Other apps are a lot of work, I assume.
Yeah,
texting your way into dinner seems.
But that's how it
hard.
is. That's
it's hard.
That's, you know, you just have to sit there back and forth, and you're like. Yeah. I mean, for me, I was like, I don't even have time to text my friends back, let alone strangers. Totally. And like 10 of them all trying to say, like, it's just overwhelming. So I would just be like, I give up. But this is just, it's more simplified where you just like have a short conversation with someone and then all of a sudden they become more than just a person and like a random stranger. They become, you develop like an actual emotional connection to them. Right.
And that's really good because, you know, people like myself are not very good at texting, like trying to allure you into texting. I can just, but if you talk to me on the phone or FaceTime, I can totally manage.
And that's why you're going to thrive.
Perfect.
Get ready.
My God.
Get ready, Hula.
My God. Download Hula, please. I will.
And it's coming soon.
Yeah. Well, by the time this podcast airs, it should be out.
Awesome. Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hulah. Hula.
Hula.
Yeah.
Hula. So we're hula hooping.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah, like a hula.
Okay.
Hula I like that.
Hula hooping.
We're dating full circle.
That's right. No, that's awesome, and I really like that. You know, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, what's going on in this dating pool life, at least for the guys.
Let's talk about it.
Not for myself, of course, for the people that, you know, that are like me. And, you know.
Young man running around LA.
Yeah, not me or anything like that. You know, this is never, whatever. So, you know, in dating world right now, men are, you know, trying to figure it out. Dating advice has kind of gone by the wayside. You know, a lot of people don't have dads anymore. Yeah. What it is. So, sorry. But like, my point is like we're trying to figure out like how to, you know, meet a girl, you know, allure her and like, you know, just be nice and bring her to a date or whatever the case may be. But there's also, you know, like not like a part where it splits into girls and it's like, yo, I just want to hook up and, you know, I just want a man to take care of me. I just want a man to pay for everything, you know, all that. Because there's two different sides of like a man just wants to be nice and a woman, let's just say, that wants to, you know, have everything taken care of for her. You know, I'm curious. You know, how does Hula really like help, you know, the guys that are, you know, kind of like me, not like me, and that are trying to, you know, figure out and find like, not necessarily those specific women, but find a woman in this whole world that's like filled with, you know, a mixture of, you know, people that want too much.
We can save you some dinners that you would have gone. That would have been a waste of your time.
Word.
You know, I think it definitely gives you a space to vet. You know, you don't have to. On the other apps, you know, of course, with COVID and everything, everyone's put in a video chat option, but you're still going to be chatting for a while, and then maybe one of you guys asks, "Hey, can we video chat?" That's just always, you always know, like, hey, on, whatever day we're going to be talking. And you get that 5-minute vetting time. And I think you'll be a good judge of character at that point to be like, yeah, I think this person's just in it for the free dinner. Or not, I think you're going to get it's going to really help with that process.
So, that does like help a guy out like myself when I was single, because I met the curly-headed overlord on a gay dance floor.
Right.
Wow.
So odds were in my favor. And it ended up being like a really cool little meet cute that ends up being a marriage at the end of the day.
Right.
And so, yeah, you can get on that app. You can start TikToking.
Right.
Show them a dance move. Women want to see, they want a quick one-liner, a dance move, and then just try to keep the wildness out just for a second.
Because,
No, I'm saying wildness is like raunchiness.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I hope I can give you good advice.
We want real advice.
Please. I'm all about like let it rip. I just think if you want someone who's kind of crazy and like can keep up with your zaniness, why not show it from the front?
From the beginning, yeah.
Like that's gonna like I think that's gonna attract the right person. You might get less people.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
very
think
selective.
it's gonna bring in the right person.
Yeah, because I've I try to be nice on the show. We
have a respectable lady on our podcast for once.
Yeah. So
we did have one on at one point. Actually, we've had two, but one actually left set.
Yeah, because
that never aired.
We're trying to.
Why did they leave set?
It just didn't work. We can't talk about what we were talking about.
Oh, shit.
It got too political.
Okay.
We're trying
Let's
to be
not
very
do
nice
that.
here.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Talk slow. Think through everything we're doing. No, because I almost forgot what I was gonna say.
You were talking about showing it all.
Yeah. So I had experiences like that where I just let it rip, right?
Okay.
And it's a very, let's just say, selective audience.
Because there's levels.
But that's okay. Like that's where people need to reframe the way that they think. It's okay for someone, like it's okay on the front end to just to only bring in the right people. Like it's good to someone not to work out. To me, that's good.
Yeah.
That's well, I do like the element of your app that has you kind of rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Where it's like, let's have this moment. It's 5 minutes, right?
Or less. You can hang up after 1 minute.
Right.
Yeah,
let's just figure this out. Like we have to hash it out. And why have to drive an hour to dinner to then do it?
That's my whole
Pay
thing. Like we'll just get it done from the. And you'll tell really quickly. I promise you. You're gonna be like, you vibe or no vibe, like very quickly.
Yeah.
Girls are gonna get mad at you though, because there's a lot of free dinners on Tinder right now.
Yeah.
But do they come with so many raunchy comments that you like it just doesn't work?
Like, okay, so one of our tagline is real people, real conversations.
Okay.
Our pool of people in itself is going to weed out a lot of the people who are just in it to get a bunch of Tinder attention. It's already it is real people. They have to get on video. There's not going to be bots. There's not going to be like you gotta be a real person.
Yeah,
so
you have to be a real person.
That in itself is, our network in itself is very valuable.
Now, if they hit it off too much, is there a time that you at Hula have to say, this can't happen on our app?
Calm down.
You guys have met 5 minutes ago. You done.
So we were under a different name when we launched.
Yeah.
So we were called Grays, and Hula has now taken over Grays. So we already have a pool of people on it, but it launched during COVID, and it was kind of crazy because we accidentally became like, when COVID happened, we were the video app. That's what we were known for.
Yeah, you're ready.
So we had people from all across the country downloading us, and then we became like, people were like getting to long distance relationships, and I'm like, holy crap, wait, this is not what I intended this for. The whole intention is to not waste your time, right? Get on video, meet quickly, vibe, then bring that into real life. But what happens?
So you don't want people like laying and watching Netflix together and just chatting.
I'm not looking to create video relationships. Absolutely not. So that's what I would say. It's mostly to kind of like, I like to compare it to, we're bringing that kind of how you would meet someone in real life, but we're bringing that to the online space. So like, you see someone at the grocery store, you're like, oh, they're cute. You like talk for a sec, and then you're like, yeah, let's get each other's numbers.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that we're creating online.
Got it.
Okay, but there's not a kickoff point yet. Like, as far as like, hey, your relationship's too far down the road. How do you tell someone like, hey, can you just please FaceTime? This is ridiculous.
Like a notification, but like dog. Yeah, like hurry up.
Maybe we can add that as a new feature. the dog get off feature.
DOG.
But I do love tech though, because you don't actually know what Hula can completely evolves into.
Oh, I mean,
You always have to stay open to it.
Yeah, it's crazy. We weren't planning on having a friends option, and COVID brought the friends op. Like, we have people making people in relationships were like, I want to meet friends. I want to socialize. Like,
Only girls.
I miss humans. Actually,
really?
No, we have a lot of guys. Yeah.
Just making FaceTime friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so chill. Like, it's
I like
future.
it. All right.
No, that's
so
awesome.
do you have to be in close proximity that? Can I put my settings on for like New York?
If you want to.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So if I'm flying to New York, let's just say in a week, I can
Yeah.
just set myself up for success. Okay,
Exactly.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Wherever you want.
You know,
The world is your oyster.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think that's hilarious. So now you're in this space. You're actually still single, right?
Yeah, I am.
Now it's a little scary to me for all these other because we got a lot of wild boys that are watching this podcast.
Not me.
And so they might hit you in the DMs.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell them
Okay.
just be respectful.
Yeah, be respectful. Yeah, chill. This
But
is not
Don't ask questions on behalf of your friend and then tell me that it's.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so
I like straight up people.
But
Okay,
how can
cool.
they trust you? You know the back end analytics of these things.
Yeah.
You're a wolf in disguise. Like,
so
what's
funny.
going on?
Especially someone
A
who's
sheep
just,
in disguise,
especially
right?
someone just starting. You're like looking right through their brain, like you can see exactly what they're gonna say next, probably.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
'Cause
Like you mean
you're a
I
dating
because I
expert.
know how people think. Well,
Yes.
okay, yes, I am very smart. I could tell people. I could tell probably a lot of people's next move, and but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than like I don't. Right now, I feel like for me right now, I just care about I want to make other people's love life.
Okay.
And I'll figure out mine later. Like I'm like I was in a relationship. I spent the whole year like really working myself and just being so happy on my own. And like I love my life now. I love what I do. I love pouring that love into other people. And like mine will just figure. I don't know. I'm just not focused on that.
So
right now.
we've been friends for like maybe 4 years now or
Yeah.
something like that. And I actually, saw that individual like through Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Because Instagram relationships happen, right?
Yeah.
Like you start putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And there's a vulnerability, and you want to show
Yeah.
the love you have for somebody.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for people with when do you actually post those pictures, and how much do you want people to actually view into your relationship? Because that can be difficult.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on whatever. I mean, I think I'm a little bit. I just don't really care. Like I just do whatever I want.
Yeah. So you just can't worry about
I
everyone
just don't
else.
care. I'm like, oh, if I want to post it, I post it. Like I don't think too much into it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, would I post someone that I'm like just dating? Like, oh, let's throw you up. No.
No.
I see some people doing that. They're like,
Oh, it
they're
happens.
falling in love on Instagram
I
way
just-
now quick, and I'm like, you just broke up with somebody, now
see,
you're in
I
love
am-
again,
I am-
and then I just saw another one. I'm like, I haven't even seen you in 2 months, and you went through like 4 people.
Yeah.
There's people like that. I'm not like that at all. So that's
Okay.
why I'm very trusted. Like I know. For me to like someone, that's a huge deal. It never happens. So,
Okay.
Like I know that I'm not just gonna throw someone up. I'll be very smart about it. But like I personally, when I am actually decided, like the way that I am is once I love someone, I love hard.
Oh, okay.
But for me to love, that's gonna be that's the hard
Okay.
part.
That's a tough one. That's tough.
Yeah.
Do you now seeing these back end analytics and seeing relationships get fostered in this space? Does it give you more hope for where relationships are going, or is there still some saltiness of like, man, this LA dating scene is really brutal?
Yeah.
I get so happy seeing our users together.
Okay.
My heart, that's like, my purpose in life is really to bring people together. I just believe that our generation, it makes me sad because we've so much, we've gotten so much further apart from each other. We're so like this.
Yeah.
And we're finally with Hula bringing each other back to having that real conversation. So that is incredibly special to me. And we have people writing all the time where, maybe they don't turn into a relationship, but then they just made an amazing friendship with this person, or this person they dated and they impacted their life. Like that is so rewarding. And I think the fact that it started off on a note of having that real, like they saw each other's real smiles and like had it real, like that's so special and so necessary in culture.
Yeah. And that's important, just having people, especially during the pandemic, what it came down to is people just really wanted to relate to other people, real people.
Human
out there.
connection. That's all.
Human connection,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's cool that, you're setting it up to where, you're really going to meet this person rather than being in a long distance relationship. Listen, long distance relationships are, cool for a couple seconds, but then they're not cool, after a little while. So, it's but also, it's good to have, be able to talk to good people too.
Oh yeah, and you'll feel, you definitely feel life. I don't know. It's a unique app where you go on to something else and you're like you're scrolling whatever. It's not like there's not like a like something happening through the phone. You know what I'm saying? And on Hula, it's this really beautiful thing where like you're like actually connecting with this person through the phone, and then you hang up and you're like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm all happy now. Like what happened to me? And it's really special.
That's awesome.
And you save gas.
Yeah.
You save
gas is going to
you save
$8
money.
a gallon,
Yeah.
so
You're saving hundreds of dollars.
You are.
Maybe even
Yeah.
thousands.
you are saving guys in this.
I'm
you
saving
really
guys, girls, like it's really powerful.
I have a question.
Makes a big difference.
I have a question. So, based on the data analytics for you, what you have, what have you seen work more? The girl reaching out first or the guy reaching out first?
I don't have the data on that. I don't have like a bar of success for either way.
Okay, she's not.
But
She's not giving us that information. But
she's
like, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That,
I will tell you.
guys reach out a little bit more.
Yeah.
However, I personally believe that it should be. I think either gender or whatever you are should have the opportunity to make the move. I don't think it should be secluded to one.
I think it's funny though sometimes with this conversation where people get so mad at society of like, hey, we have these guys that have to bounce around a bar and try to talk to all the girls in order to get one number. Yeah. And then the prettiest girl at the bar, she has to kind of like deflect all of these guys. But she also won't walk up to the one guy she actually likes there and say hi. Yeah. He has to like kind of fight and find her. And we always think of it as cultural. I actually think it's more biological of like, guys you gotta shoot your shot.
Listen, I in previous years and probably have interviews of me saying like, make the first. I personally feel in my life right now, I want the guy to make the move.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, but I wasn't like that before. Before I was just like, oh, like let me get it. Like if I want something, I'm gonna. And that is true to a line, but I feel like right now where I'm at. Like, I want a guy who will pursue me. Yeah. And that's just where I'm at.
Well, that's the thing is, the way it actually works out is I think most females like that idea of, like, a meet cute that the guy's like, I really like you. Yeah. Now, the biggest problem is it culturally, there's kind of two different sects, where as sections of how you can approach a girl. Right. You can go wildly raunchy. And see if she thinks you're kind of joking in order to then say, oh, okay, like you want to move into a relationship like this. Yeah, I kind of like your little kitschiness. Yeah. And I'll let your raunchiness slide because I want like a goofball. Or you get this guy who is actually genuinely nice, who like is just trying to be kind, and he gets blown off so much. Yeah.
Okay, so
the guy who runs around and says like crazy stuff actually wins. Which is weird.
Okay, so I believe we need to. So I actually say this on my social medias because people, there's a lot of girls that are preaching like if a guy, comes up to me, they're like, "Oh my God, bye." Like I'm like, that's so mean. He was a respectful guy trying to shoot don't you want that? You're literally training these guys to not come up to you,
well, his comment
and not to make a move. So I think it does need to start at like we all need to treat each other like humans, right?
Yeah,
And that's where I think culture is also, there is a lot going in the wrong direction because people are so like they want to like be the guy who's like, oh my God, like I think there's a lot of that. So I would like to combat that on social media and be like, no, like someone respectfully comes up to you and makes a move. Like just because you're not interested, you can still be polite and friendly.
Well, I always have told people like the boldest thing you can do is just say hi. Yeah. It's just like walk up. If you think this is the hottest girl at the bar, just walk up and say, I honestly think you're the most attractive person here, and I just want to know what you're about. Best move in the house.
I don't know if I would even say that.
Too much?
Yeah. Okay. What would Heather Hopkins say?
I tell guys just literally walk up and say, hi, my name is this. That is that's so much hotter than any line, move. Like just say hello confidently. Oh.
Yeah.
That will work.
Our last guest, well, actually a few guests ago, he just puts a cup on the girl's head.
Oh my God, I would tell him to go away.
He said it worked.
It said it worked. He
sounds extremely immature.
Well, the problem is he's an international sex symbol. Yeah. And I think he got the best of him. Good guy though.
Good guy though.
Wild move.
He puts a cup in the girl's head, and it goes like, "Can you balance it?"
And we have a lot of
I would be like this, like.
We've had a lot of viewers reach out and say it doesn't work.
That is very immature and childish. I wouldn't.
And that's what I was trying to do. I was too far over on this side of the couch, trying to say this is boys' behavior. Right. It's too wild, boy.
Right. Yeah.
It's a no from me.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
No from me,
dog.
No red cup, no red solo cup on the head. It doesn't work. Sorry, Chase.
Just walk up and say hi. It's so simple. Like,
right. But from his perspective, it's like, oh, I'm confident, so therefore I walk up to you and do something so crazy that it, gets you to be like, what? That's crazy. How,
Why do we have to do that? What?
Well, I think
it's games that we play.
You know what I think though? I think it's the element of being confident enough to actually walk up. That's the big step.
Yeah.
But then what happens is guys get a little emboldened.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh, I can walk up to girls and say hi, and they actually say hi back.
Right.
And then they take it too far.
Right.
But I do have to tell you, I had a wild experience once where I had my head get shaved by a barber that I didn't want my head to get shaved.
Ooh.
And I immediately went to Vegas for a bachelor party.
Right.
And the type of girl that started to come up to with me changed drastically. Every girl had,
Oh, interesting.
I kind of looked like I looked like I honestly ran up to the Capitol on January 6th. Okay, screaming with like horns on.
Yeah.
And the type of girl that started coming, all tatted up, sleeved. I never had so many girls approach me, aggressive girls, saying like, "I love your look," and it was the scariest I've ever looked in my life. I looked crazy.
Yeah.
That's too funny. I mean, it does change depending on how you, or like your vibe.
Yeah, your vibe changes.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. Is that what they say in Venice?
Yeah, we are deep in the heart of Venice right now, so that's what it's about.
Yeah. We've been trying to figure this whole dating thing out. I'm in my journey of trying to figure this whole thing out, approaching women. Personally, I like older women. Maybe give me like 8-9 years, whatever. It's cool. They're more fun, more experience. Okay. So I like that. But like I like that because of like the way my style of like coming up works to them, and then because it's more like straightforward, and if it works, it works. If I shoot my shot and miss, I wouldn't miss. But it's just like like I can't even say this, but I'm like I basically try to like shoot all the way like immediately. You know what I mean?
You go level 11.
I'm sorry, but like usually it has alcohol to do with it, and we're in the club or whatever.
Right.
And then I'm just like like what are we doing here? Skip middleman and then straight to the and then sometimes. It's the fact. I'm sorry for everyone who's listening. I'm the future girl I'm dating. I'm sorry, but
right.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just interesting to see.
What is odd is like when you're a guy, sometimes the craziest thing works.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for like.
And then it skews all your data because you're like, this is working. Then let me go.
Yeah.
Do that
and it might be the only thing that ever worked. So then. Then what happens is some like sweet girl gets caught in the crossfire.
Putting the cop on the
because
head.
You're like, this worked over there, and then this like girl gets caught in the crossfire. You're like, but she said it's okay.
I'm sorry. You know who I'm talking about. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I could see that. See that.
He's 100% talking about me right now.
No, it's for any guy out there.
You won't go wrong though. You will not go wrong walking up respectfully and confidently. Being like, hi, I'm Heather,
Hello.
Like that, you can't go wrong,
Right.
And then warm them up to the crazies,
Yeah.
Warm them up to all that. Then,
Yeah, because like, girls do like to know that they have like a little bit of a wild hair in a guy.
Right.
But they just need it like on date 3.
Right.
Totally.
And they tease on a little bit on date 1, like, I'm a little weird.
Yeah. The reason why it's always like so complex, right? Because I remember when I was in high school, I was asking my biology teacher, she's a very smart woman. She's basically saying, we asked, why do girls like, these, dickheads at that time, right? Basically meaning, the arrogant guys or whatever,
right.
Football players, whatever.
Donald Trumps of the world.
Sure. And she basically said, because there's something in basically a girl's mind where it says that guy is a protector or someone who has a chip on their shoulder or who will fight for me in case something happens, right? But the guy who's like the nice guy, apparently I saw this one like Reddit post, a real story about, how the girl like finally married the nice guy. Yeah. And she was like, wow, I'm so excited. He treats me right, all this stuff. But then, to say this nicely, in her marriage, she's not satisfied at all. Right. So it's like a balance of, finding, something to maybe toxic and passionate versus something, clean, nice, and boring. You know what I mean?
Gosh, I don't know. There's probably some truth to everything you said. You said a lot there.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, I think a woman, the way that, biologically, we want someone who is a provider, protector. That doesn't have to necessarily mean in the ways that you think of naturally, but like someone who has that more, where the woman is carrying the baby. Like there is biologically probably there's reasonings behind why maybe a woman is more attracted to the guy who's the douche.
Right, more boisterous.
But I can tell you, definitely do not be the douche. Like that is not what that is.
See,
I hear guys that are like,
that's brand new advice here.
Yeah,
that's actually breaking news
like,
on Smart and Mild. Don't be the douche is breaking news.
Exclusive.
Don't be the douche is breaking news. No, there's definitely guys that are like, they think that that's what a girl wants. Then I'll go so far left. I'll be the biggest jerk ever. I'm like, yo, you're gonna. I think my advice is I try to always like simplify things.
Okay.
Like
that's what we need here.
I think a lot of people, you if you're a crazy person, like if that's how you are, then let your freak flag fly. Don't put a mask on that, because if you put a mask on that, you're not going to be able to sustain it.
This was different advice than she just gave a minute ago.
Yeah.
No. Well, okay. I said on the front end, like maybe like when you're saying hi to someone, maybe don't walk up and do a cartwell, like. I mean, or do. I don't know. If that's how you, I don't. I just met you today, so I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off air. Yeah.
Cam owns the room.
Overall, you won't go wrong with the first approach being hi. Then warm them up to give them the full you.
Got it.
The full you experience. But I think like don't put a mask on, because you won't be able to sustain it. You get it. So fine. You put on this douchey provider, protector, blah blah guy. Okay, right?
Sup.
You get the girl. Jessica's in. She's
Right,
like,
right.
oh, I'm down with that. I'm down with him.
It's always Jessica.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you
Jessica.
and Jessica are together, and all of a sudden you're like actually developing this relationship, but she thinks you're this guy, and you're like you're starting to like crack. You're like, oh crap, like
Oh shit, like it's coming up
like,
under me.
You're like, I'm trying like I you're not gonna be able to sustain it. It's not gonna happen, and then it's all gonna crumble, and then you're back to square one again. So you may as well be you from the start.
Yeah.
And you know what? You might repel a good amount of people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But
Sorry,
you're gonna attract
Tina.
the right person for you, and that's gonna be wonderful, and that's gonna create a long, healthy relationship.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you need to be fighting for the one, not just obviously guys kind of have to have a shotgun approach a little bit.
Yeah.
Early
It's
on.
a numbers game.
It is a numbers
That's
game.
life, though.
Yeah, it is numbers game. Yeah, because like we really are asking you from like a very personal perspective, because because we know people, of course, that do stuff like this. That's awesome. That's amazing. So I just want to know, just out of because you have the new app, Hula app. So if the CEO of Bumble came up to you, how do you basically like how do you fight her? Do you argue with her, or do you punch her in the face? Do you tell her like your analytics, or like what like
is there a YouTube boxing match approaching?
Yeah, to the Bumble CEO and you. You know what I mean?
No, I mean I believe
you're next.
I mean I believe there's room for everyone in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's put together so many successful relationships have happened
Sure.
in Bumble, and that's amazing. I think there's room. Like I think there's room for each and every, whatever you feel like you're put on this earth to do, and what you're building. For sure. I think there's room for everyone, and I'm not gonna she's done amazing work. I have nothing bad to say.
Not gonna fight her.
No, I'm not gonna fight her. Good for her.
That'd be good
for her.
content.
And she paved the way for me too. Like she's been that's massive. She's taken a company public. She's a female.
Yeah.
Like that's power to that, and she's also created a beautiful platform.
Right. She should be happy that you're coming and taking some of the weight off her.
Yeah, come on.
Because they built every relationship in the last decade. Someone else has got to help out.
They're like, please, yeah.
Well, Hula's here to help.
That's amazing.
Hula's here to help. That's what we need. We're gonna all be hula hooping.
Yeah, right.
Woo! Let's do it.
That's right. So I know you talked about when did you start? When did you start Hula? By the way,
I started Hula.
That's great.
So I started it. So I started my podcast in 2017. I started, 2019.
Oh,
yeah.
recent. Wow, very recent. And I looked, at the app, and I just downloaded it. You have, first of all, great reviews, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone loves it. People are very excited about it. It's interesting how you're telling me. People are really loving it. So I get it on both ends. So where as the app is growing now, and it's also getting acquired. Not acquired, essentially changing into Hula.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Where are we taking Hula? Are we taking it public?
We'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see. I have big visions for it. I'm very excited. I think it's not just there's things in the world that are just like, oh, it's a theme, like, oh, look, dinosaur themed, yay. What I believe is we're really changing the way that people connect and bring people back to having a real conversation, and that's not just a little thematic change in an app. Mm-hmm. That's a really big, that's a difference in communication.
Right.
And I think that can span across so many things. We fell into building friendships through Hula also. Right. So if you're in a relationship listening, you could still use it for friends. And that does really well. And
that's what all the married guys say. They're like, yeah, I'm just here for the friends.
Yeah.
And so I think, there's room for friendships, business relationships. There's a lot of room for just the simple change of having that real conversation is always a part of it.
Right. And I asked you that because I know we're catching you early, and I'm glad you gave me that answer. Because when you do take it public and you're just like, we just want to dominate the global dating scene, and your answer is totally different. I just want to catch this clip ahead of time.
Good.
And you're just like, we just want to help people.
She's just money hungry, crazy.
We do though. One of my mentors, he was like, because it's so crazy, you guys. Like building businesses, there's like so much coming at you,
totally.
And he's always like, Heather, I want you to always, when things get crazy, think about the simplicity of what you're doing. You're bringing people together. And so I've always built from that place. And I think that is like, an entrepreneur that's in it for the long haul, you have to build from that place. If you're building from anything other than that, like if you're building I want to make a lot of money, you will not be able to get through the times that you have to get through.
Because the money just doesn't show up right away. It has to be for the love of the game.
I could cry talking about how much I love what I do.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about building your appropriate profile.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it's so important.
Well, I could definitely.
So on Hula, do I get 5 pictures? How many pictures?
Okay, so you get 6 slots for pictures.
Okay.
So I always recommend to the first photo, make sure it's a clear shot where you can see your face.
Do you go would a guy hold a dog or a baby?
I would personally say a dog because baby can. People, sometimes we don't read the part because we have, you can say you mark if you have kids or not.
Yeah, my cousin.
So a lot of people won't see that part, and so they'll just assume it's your child.
But I think girls probably like that sometimes, right? Like, oh, I got a baby daddy or whatever.
I mean, sure, whatever. But I think the dog girls. If you meet a girl who doesn't like a dog, you should question that girl because.
I don't know if curly-headed overload really likes dogs.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm obsessed with dogs.
Okay.
The general gist of girls are obsessed with dogs. I even have girlfriends who are like, I'm hanging out with him because he has a cute dog.
That's crazy.
But if that can get you in the door.
That's why. But then you're always subject to the dog. I've had relationships in the past where the dog was more important than me, and it's that's kind of odd.
Right. Yeah. The big dog or small
dog,
by the way?
Girls love dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little hack. Put a dog and you on a profile and whoop, 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 see what happens.
Because now we're asking data questions. Big dog or small dog?
Oh, well, I currently have a little 4-pound rescue dog, but I am looking to get I want a big dog.
Awesome. That's
awesome. Like a German Shepherd?
Oh, unfortunately, I'm allergic.
Oh.
So I'm going to go with the doodle, but I'm on a wait list to get I would love to rescue, but I don't think it's possible to rescue that kind.
You can't rescue designer dogs.
Well, I would though. I would love to. However, I think with my I'm looking to get I want the biggest one there is.
Yeah.
I want the human size one.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're dealing with human sized poops then. Too.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that part. We'll get to that later.
It's oh my gosh,
now,
my Great Dane just accidentally made a mistake on the rug, and it's a disaster.
Right in front of the guy.
I have a little she's the weirdest looking thing you've seen. She's teeny. Guys love her though.
4 pounds.
Yeah, she doesn't look. Those dogs that are kind of annoying looking. They're the little white fluffies.
Yeah.
She's this really weird looking thing. I don't know how to explain her.
No,
but guys are if I was to get a small dog, she's a cool looking dog. She's cool looking.
Yeah. I feel like 4 pounds is like the weight of my foot. You know what I mean?
It's she's a little thing.
I've always been interested how girls love ugly dogs, but then can criticize my looks.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you like the ugliest things, but you won't give me a chance.
I have to be
What the heck's going on?
I have to be
that
funny.
bothered me just endlessly
No.
when I was
and,
single.
and you just said that. Like, it turns to a 6 and to a 9. It's for me to be funny. The dog is ugly, and all it does is barks all day, and all of a sudden you love it.
Not my dog. My
Yeah.
dog doesn't bark all day.
We got
Dog
questions.
training.
Probably, I bet that dog's so annoying, I'd definitely punt it.
60 yards. You're just like,
She's so cute.
Okay, so dogs over the baby. So first you do
Yes.
dog photo.
Yeah.
Then do you need to show friends immediately after that?
So on Hula, yes. So,
Yeah.
so
In the
you-
6
'cause
photos,
you were talking
like
about
how-
the photos.
Building your profile the
Okay.
right way that works well.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll actually give you the order in which I think it should go. So the first shot is a clear photo of your face, preferably friendly, because I've seen, sometimes it can be like the fierce thing, but probably, unless it's a really good picture of you, probably look more friendly.
Okay.
Then the next photo is a like full body, whether you're, in front of on vacation, something where I can see that, what you look like.
Okay.
Then the next one, a photo with people you care about, because you are the average of your 5 to 10 closest
So is
friends.
that family? That's not family. That's
So it could be friends, family.
Okay.
I just say people you care about. However, on Hula, obviously you're getting a little more of a taste of that because they're going to be answering questions
That's
about
right.
you. So
That's
it's
right.
going to be even more. It's really cool.
Right.
And then you want a picture of something showing your caring side. So guys post like dogs. Obviously, people do post their nephews, nieces. If it's a great picture, like sure, that's
Yeah.
fine. But the dogs is just say it's great.
it's a better
What
move.
about taking care of an older person? Does that work too?
Sure. Maybe not. Yeah. You got a
Take
shot
a picture
like
with
that.
your grandma. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Like
you
actually like spoon feeding her,
Oh
giving
my
her
God.
soup.
yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said that. Like,
I kind of thought you were saying that too.
I'm half nurse.
I don't know if that floats your boat, whatever. And then a picture of you in your element. So whether that be you, playing your favorite sport, maybe you're at work, maybe you're podcasting like you are,
Okay.
something where I kind of get like an idea of like what lights you up.
And would you go more professional on that or more fun?
I think it's
Whatever it is.
The last slot would be a bonus photo, so you could go whatever you didn't go on.
Okay.
That one. Yeah. So that whole thing gives a really good full picture of the person photo wise.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, because you're kind of hitting all the different points.
Yeah, because we got a lot of young, lost boys out here in LA that are watching this show.
Do that. If you follow that formula, I'm telling you it works. I watch it all day. It works.
See,
Listen.
you've heard it here directly from the CEO's mouth, the founder of this company. Get the puppy dog.
Yeah, get the puppy dog. So after you build your profile, right?
Yes.
So how are we really getting the most out of it? Are we boosting? Are we connecting to our Facebook? How are we getting the most out of this app to really ensure
so once
success?
you put in you're gonna onboard, you put in your photos, right? Then you're gonna go into your profile and you click share your link. So you're gonna share your link with friends. They're gonna click the link. It opens up to a web portal, so they don't have to even be on the app.
Okay.
the
they
link
can-
to where to your profile.
No, they open the link and it's like a web. It connects to your friend where they answer the question about you.
Okay.
So it's gonna open like a web portal. They get to pick what question they want to answer. They record it. It's under 5 seconds, so they might answer.
I can't wait to set yours up.
They might answer
gonna
like
say something
one thing that people
wild.
don't know about you. So maybe LJ's like, "Oh, you don't know, it's a crazy one." And so, while these girls are watching your profile, they're gonna see the photo of you, and then they're gonna have LJ being like, "He's a crazy one."
Yeah.
It's gonna be a photo of
Yeah.
you with your dog, or you're feeding your old person.
Right.
I'll be like, first off,
Another
he
friend.
rented a dog in that first photo.
That'd be great. You
Yeah.
should put that on your
Went
profile.
on rentagrandma.com.
Yeah, feel free to rehearse with your friends.
Word.
No. And then once you see that he's recorded it, you're gonna get a notification that says, LJ, you have something he added to your profile, so you can go in and watch it. You can delete it. Don't worry.
Right. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Just in case it's too bad.
Yeah, and then you share it with as many people so that you get a full. And I think it not only it makes it so fun to be on Hula,
Yeah.
but it also gives you there's something about hearing about that person through their friends'
Yeah,
eyes
that's
that
important.
is really cool.
Yeah, like their Yelp reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
Or
Yeah.
Yelp reviews.
Yeah.
You try to bring like an X on.
I was gonna say I was thinking about like putting an X onto mine. That would be kind of entertaining.
That's kind of interesting, actually. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
And honestly, if he's like, you know what, she broke my heart. She's a vicious.
He's
I'm not
crying.
saying it.
So
And
we
It's
call,
like,
by
it's
the
like calling
way,
your old landlord.
we-
You'd
we-
like,
Right.
it's
Because
like,
guys
Jesus
would look at him
Christ.
and be like, wow, she's
So-
probably pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
we call them loops. So that's what you're watching. You're making a loop. That's what we call our profile, like video.
Okay.
Profile.
Right.
So, yeah, adding an X to your loop could be very interesting.
I like that idea a lot.
I think you get creative with it. You know, add your
Mhm.
mom to it. Like,
Yeah.
it's free flowing. Add anyone to your loop.
Your mom's just like, he's a great boy, but sometimes he doesn't listen.
But think about that. You're seeing this girl and her mom is answering. You're like, oh my god! Like it's just something about it. It just
He takes his snack
it's
at
very
3 p.m. and then he usually does a 20-minute nap.
Yeah.
So do not forget that.
Yeah, and I feed him at 5, so make sure you know by then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's awesome. So this is how we get success on Hula, by the way, guys. So let's make sure you're paying attention.
Oh, and make sure that you show up to. So if you schedule a face-to-face, so you schedule it, I confirm it, and we're both confirmed. And let's say you don't show up, well, whoever started it and didn't show up or communicate that, it goes against them in the algorithm.
Ooh.
So make sure that if it doesn't work out, just propose a new time because you don't want to.
Ooh,
Get
you're gonna
hurt.
down
Leave
like
them wait.
that.
We
So
don't
there's
like
no
flakes.
ghosting.
We don't do
Awesome.
flakes.
Awesome. So actually, I don't know why I just thought about this, but is anyone in like your company like German descent or anything like that? I don't know why I just thought of that.
German?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean?
I was just like timely,
Like-
you know what I mean? Like be on time type of thing. That's all.
Oh,
head.
no.
And good engineers.
Yeah, that too.
No. I mean, I know some of us have German, like, in our
Background.
blood.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
No.
You have blue eyes. She might be hurt. It's make sure you're on time or you're downloading the algorithm. They should do that way more often, like on all apps. But that's a very interesting thing. I don't know. I like
A lot of people are going to get downvoted because
Oh.
LA is not on time.
You're not gonna. You have to really win it back. Then I mean, you can go back. You can't get back up, but like you're gonna have to do your time. Then show up to a lot more.
Do your time.
You gotta.
I just now you make me think about it. What area is most on time? Out of just
What area?
like
what
area in the United States, are they like New York, East Coast, West Coast?
Like
more on
what
time?
people are most on time?
Yeah. Just in general. I'm just thinking about it.
I don't have that.
It's
data.
it's the Midwest. It's got to be
Yeah,
on
Midwest
time.
or East.
We show up early.
Yeah, because it definitely ain't us. You know what I mean?
So
Midwest, y'all got nothing to do, so you got to show up. East Coast, they just for some reason they do. But West Coast, we're just like, I want to be cool or something.
Well, my mom, she was the whole thing.
Well,
like,
our
if you're
server-
early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Just
If you're
so
late,
you-
you're left.
Just so
Right.
you guys know, our server will actually call you at the time, so you don't have to do the calling. Once it's scheduled, like the server calls you.
Okay.
Got it.
So it's on you to answer and be available at that time because you said you were gonna be.
Right. That's interesting.
It's important stuff. You got to be on time.
Yeah, you got to
Giving you all the little hacks for Hula.
That's very important. Actually, so now it makes me think about it. What ups your profile other than pictures? What ups your profile puts you even higher in the algorithm?
Well, we like to keep our algorithm pretty. We are transparent about like what will things like that.
Right.
But we try to. It's growing a lot. So our algorithm is becoming more and more sophisticated as we grow. Just like all the algorithms in the world. But I can definitely say by adding people to your loop, by adding, completing your profile, that's all going to really help you.
Right.
By also being active, that's other huge factor that will definitely come into play because we want people to see people that are active then they can actually talk to. Like,
Right.
if you're not on there, we're probably going to just boost you down.
Have you ever got someone to give you feedback of maybe a lady came up to you and she's like, this man is way too active. He's hoeing on your app.
Yeah.
Get him off.
And it's like, and he keeps staying on one specific profile that the person already rejected him. You know what I mean?
I don't really know. Like, I don't know how that could happen because they would have to match.
Okay.
And they can
Yeah, but then
unmatch.
like maybe 4 or 5, 6 girls, there's a coup,
Yeah.
and they realize this guy's got to go.
Yeah, they just like hone in.
Wait, how are they realizing this? I'm confused.
Because they somehow meet, girls figure things
Yeah,
out,
I was actually
and they
gonna
were
ask
chatting around, and then he's just always,
I
he's
mean,
hooling
that actually-
way too much.
Yeah, that bleeds into my other question because I was gonna say like, what if you talk to the girl's friend, right? And do they know? Like, how do they? You know what I'm saying? And they all like.
I
hone
mean,
in
you
on
guys, this can happen anywhere. I think on any like. Okay, I will say.
it.
Have
Sorry.
you guys heard the? I don't know if it was a tweet or what, but my friends will like talk about it. It's like your class and dating apps. Like you'll see the same people on it, and you're like, oh, we're all in the same class. Like,
Oh, that's
we're all
hilarious.
like this single class. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
Which that I think
Because
there's
you
some
probably
truth to
do
that.
see people
Yes.
that you know, right?
Have you ever seen like people? There's this one guy. It's so sad, but my friends, we all know him from a dating app. Like he's like dating app famous, even though he's not famous at all. We just all seen him many times.
And everyone's gone on a date with them. And
Not necessarily, but we've all gotten likes from him, and he's kind of dating app
this
famous
is the
in
guy.
our group.
He's a dating app hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe that's who you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Interesting.
yeah. So actually, this guy that I'm referring to, he lives in my apartment complex. So I've now gotten to talk to him about this part of.
Yeah.
You can imagine he's like, oh.
I shared with him. I go, my friends all know you from being on dating apps, and he's like,
girls
really?
talk.
I had no idea. He's like, oh, I'm genuinely looking to be in a relationship. I'm like, well, that's so. I guess.
But do they all look at him favorably? They're like, oh, like he's pretty cool.
It's more like he's a familiar face. Like he's become like famous in their not famous, but like he's just
known.
His face. Yeah.
Wow. See, he's on them apps. He's working.
Yeah.
And you can't give disrespect to someone who's just getting out there. He's
listen,
working.
When I talked to him
hustling.
about it, I had so much more respect. I was like, respect. Like he's putting himself out there. He's really he genuinely is looking to make a connection, and so I was like, okay.
Gosh, I mean, he might need to be your Jared.
Who's
Yeah.
Jared?
So Jared is the Subway guy that got skinny off of Subway.
Oh.
So if you get him connected, you've won.
Oh my God.
Give him a gold star.
Yeah. She's like,
He's your Jared.
I tried all the apps. I finally got
That
on this
is
one, and
so
then like,
funny.
wow, look at me. Mine is scandal, obviously, but like, you know what I mean? Like, finally, like it works. You know what I mean?
That's so fun. No, he's waiting for Hula to come out. He's like, well, still on this show, obviously. We're not live quite yet. Well, Grace is, but
Yep.
yeah, no, we were at the gym yesterday on the treadmill, and he was like, I cannot wait. I'm like, got you.
Oh wow.
Got you, dude.
Interesting.
She's saving people.
That's yeah. And she could have just canceled your profile at any time. And she's like, you know what? This guy's genuine. This guy's nice.
She probably canceled his profile about 6 months. He sounds like a wild boy.
No. I love putting people together.
So next we got to get this guy married somehow.
That's the mission.
Off the app too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the mission.
That's the way to get him off the app.
What are you gonna do to celebrate your first Hula marriage and then baby? Do you have a party?
I don't know. That sounds like something that I feel like that would be really cool.
Yeah, like you
a
sponsor
party?
their wedding.
I think that would be really cool.
Hula
I would
wedding.
love that.
Yeah.
You
I would
somehow
love that.
have to find it being
We
genuine.
we have relationships in the I love you stage, but I'm like waiting. I'm like, where's my email about the engagement?
That's right.
But we came out only during COVID, so it's
Yeah.
still, I'm also like, okay, Heather, take a step back. It's still, we're happy these people aren't rushing into
Right.
things.
Right.
Because they're still young. It's still I love you and accidental pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's not
None
marriages
of those
yet.
thank God, that I've heard of. Yeah.
Still in the infatuation phase.
Yes.
For sure.
We're in the honeymoon phases. All of our relationships are currently in the honeymoon phases. So we'll take that.
This is a big deal.
Infatuation and love are very confusing. It's like I never that thing where you sniff alcohol. I feel like it's the difference between sniffing alcohol and drinking alcohol. Being infatuated. And you're still drunk.
I have
you're just
no idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
I never sniffed alcohol, but I've seen people. You sniff it and you get drunk or whatever. And then, but you're not. You didn't drink it. So you're not that drunk. But you. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Next analogy.
But you can sniff alcohol.
Yeah. Apparently. Listen. My point is you're not really in love, but you are. Whatever.
Okay.
But these are confusing things, right?
Confusing.
There is elements where you're like, you sometimes will be so interested in someone, you think you love them, you actually hate them, and you just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, you couldn't or you're so engrossed in the situation that you don't really know what you're. You're not really. You know what you're thinking yet.
Right.
You haven't stepped outside.
You're actually
of
just
it.
a mentally exhausting person. I was just trying to save you. I just didn't know what I felt about it.
And you're fun to be around, but yeah, it happens sometimes.
I don't know. Okay.
We're figuring it out.
Figure it out.
I'll let you guys.
We're looking at
You're in your world.
You were
You're like, we love them, but we hate them. I'm like, I've never felt that. I've never felt
that was your first actual viewing of Smart and Mild.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's just you'll see the episodes, and like we'll continue on with this next episode too. Because like, how did this work? Like,
Because you probably are gonna get tagged in like 6 months where he's screaming at the camera on a podium saying that Heather Hopkins didn't know shit. I tried out her little thing. I rented a puppy, and she didn't know anything.
No, try it.
the puppy.
Try it and tell me.
No, I will.
Yeah.
I actually totally 100% will.
I can't wait till you get into an internet feud with her.
Because in all
I'm down with it. I'll fight you back.
I don't want to fight you. You look like you're gonna beat me up. I haven't gotten to any like well, listen, that's not true. I haven't got any dating app relationships yet. You know, so I'm gonna try yours first.
Yeah.
My first one because I never downloaded any allegedly, and
and
and then we're going to start and see how it goes in LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I really want to see what's out there. LJ is taken, so he doesn't like. He's always like Cameron, like this is what it is.
But he's gonna be on your friends. He's gonna be on your loop now.
Yeah.
So
I
he's gonna
am
have
going
some
to-
sort of presence, and people will know about him before they.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
How do you feel about that? Going on a date, and now people are gonna like know kind of some people in your life.
Well, he has like
That might open up some conversations.
he already has stalkers on the show.
yeah,
Really?
It's great. They're figuring out too much about him. They get mad about his
They
comments.
message me afterwards, like, why did you say that? Like, how did you dare you? And
Was that about me?
you have like 100 subscribers? And
Hey, you evoked an emotion, and that's worth something.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Whether that's good or bad.
Right.
You know what? You actually just hit on a really good point. Evoked an emotion. Because I just started realizing that actually, like it's like whether like what way how like when you evoke an emotion, there's some type of like either you might like the person or not like the person. There's some type of connection just got made in a weird way.
That's true.
And like I don't know what it is. So like for instance, like I hate to even bring this up, but my ex-girlfriend.
I think we need to bring it up.
My ex-girlfriend, like because I even though I found out afterwards, I didn't really whatever. But like if something happened where we were like going through a situation and then like it got really bad down, and then like we got through it, and then that's when I was realizing like, hey, like I think like I kind of love you or whatever. So for some reason it was a weird moment because you invoked that sort of hard emotion and then got over it.
Okay.
I don't know. I just realized that.
Well, sometimes when
Side note.
your a relationship
Sorry.
goes through a tough time, that's when it finally either like dies or takes the next step.
Right. But she continued being mean, so we're not then we jumped her. But the point is like when you evoke an emotion, you made me think about that.
Okay. Yeah. We love that.
That's awesome. So that's amazing. I think Hula is gonna be an amazing app. I think it's gonna work for me. I hope. And if not, me and you're gonna fight. And no, I'm kidding. And I think in all seriousness though, like I see the success of Hula that's growing right now. From your growth from 2019 to now, I mean, I think you're next up in that dating app space.
Booming.
And you're very intelligent, very smart, and I think all good luck and wishes to that app.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're excited.
We love it.
Yeah. And And
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Heather. We really
Thanks
appreciate
for
you.
having
Where
me,
can they go
guys.
find you?
Okay, so my personal account is @it's Heather Hopkins.
Okay.
Hula's is @Join Hula.
Okay.
And then you can find us on the App Store, HULAH with an H at the end, so Hula.
Join Hula. I'll be there.
Yes.
Hooling. I'll never hula, but I'm out here.
Yep. So people are gonna we'll find you some love in the loop.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I will definitely let you know how it goes.
Oh, you got to.
We out here.
You're gonna get kicked out.
Yeah. All the ladies out
Maybe
here.
you
West
can
Side.
post later on. You can post because you can export your loop and like post it to your. You can let people see what your profile looks like.
Okay.
It's
That's
like
what
a
we need.
TikTok. You know when you save a TikTok, you can save your loop.
Yeah.
So you could we could see what friends you've chosen,
Right.
what photos, how the dog's going.
How
How that
was
first
hard.
date goes.
You know what I'm saying? Girls out here in LA, we are out here. You know what I'm saying? Catch me, Venice, West Side. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We'll be out here in downtown LA. We're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So you see me, come catch me. We just don't want. I can't even say. We can't even say. We just want good vibes coming towards us. That's all. So love. We out here.
We're out here live from LA. We are done. This was Smart and Mild. Like,
Mild.
subscribe, comment, get us up in that algorithm a little bit. We appreciate you all.
Heather Hopkins in the building. Love, peace, and sugar. This is Smart and Mild. We out.
Our first
Goodbye.
respectable episode ever.
First respectable. I mean, but it's gonna get wild next episode.
We out.
We're very sorry.
Oh gosh.
Try to be very.